If fat loss after 40 feels impossible, no matter what you try, I want you to know that you are not broken. You're not alone, and you're definitely not failing. I hear this from almost every woman I speak with. And just last night, I was at a menopause event and I sat and listened to literally a room filled with women who are in midlife that are struggling with this. They're exhausted, they're frustrated, and they're starting to think that this is now their new reality. But it doesn't have to stay this way. Today, I'm sharing exactly why fat loss in midlife feels so difficult and what you can do to turn it around like I did. Hi, I'm Genny Tonin, and I'm a holistic nutritionist, and I help women who are in midlife and looking for effective ways to drop excess body fat, increase their energy, support their hormones, and feel better on the inside and the outside. When I hit my 40s, I started gaining weight, even though I was eating what I thought was a healthy diet, and even though I was exercising consistently. But it wasn't just the weight that was bugging me. It was this overwhelming sensation that my body was changing somehow. And no matter how hard I worked, it felt like I was in somebody else's skin. My body just didn't feel like mine anymore. It wasn't familiar. It was uncomfortable. And the worst part was that nobody validated what I was going through. I got that same lame advice from my well-meaning doctor about eat less and move more, which, I'll be real, is the most frustrating advice ever when you've been trying all the things and you're not getting the results you want, because that's the first thing we tried, right? Restrict your calories, move your body more. If that worked, my YouTube channel wouldn't exist, because that's the advice we've been given for decades. But my friends, they chalked it up to just, this is midlife. This is how things are now. They were really accepting of it, but not in an empowered way. They just figured this is our lot in life. We're getting older. Things aren't going to feel good anymore. And even my husband, who tries so hard to be supportive, he'd look at me with bewilderment. He didn't understand why I wasn't getting the results I wanted, because he lived with me. He saw how hard I was working and how I was showing up, and the scale wouldn't budge. I felt like I was going crazy. I felt like I was screaming into a void. I felt like nobody could hear me. But last night at this event I was at, hearing so many women share how unseen and unheard they felt by the medical system, by their friends and partners and the people in their lives. It broke my heart, but it also fired me up, because I know that there are tools that work, tools that can give you back your power. And that's what I'm sharing with you here today. So there's 3 key shifts that you need to understand when it comes to dropping weight in midlife as a woman. Shift number 1 to understand is that it is not your fault. It's your hormonal metabolism. Like it or not, you're not in your 20s, you're not in your 30s anymore. Your body is different. Estrogen shifts, cortisol changes, and insulin resistance increases. And all this means that your old strategies don't work anymore. Doing things like cutting calories and increasing your cardio isn't gonna cut it. In fact, doing those things can actually make things worse. And I learned that the hard way. So when I started to feel this way personally, I thought, well, nothing's going to be better than eating less, 500 calories less a day. That's the standard advice that you will get from almost any weight loss person. And I have to do more cardio. I have to run. I signed up to do a half marathon training program, a 6-month half marathon training. And my race day was the end of September. I started in the spring. I started in March, and I ran my heart out for 6 months. I was so dedicated each and every week, even when I had a cold, even when it was pouring rain or terrible weather. I showed up and I ran. I was averaging 35 plus kilometers a week toward the end. And my running skills, they got better. But you know what? In that whole 6 months, I didn't lose a single freaking pound, not one. But the truth is that that increase in running did a couple of terrible things for me that I didn't realize at the time. It made my hunger skyrocket. It made my stress levels skyrocket. And the hunger, the cravings, I couldn't control myself. I needed to eat more to fuel those crazy long runs. And the stress from running that much as a woman in midlife, well, it increased my cortisol levels, which makes you gain belly fat. Shift number 2 is that traditional dieting methods backfire after 40. So when I was trying to eat less and move more, I felt worse. I was more tired. In fact, I was exhausted and I was hungrier. I was so hungry. I don't have words to describe it, but I would literally finish a long run. I'd get in my car and I'd drive to the grocery store and buy all kinds of food because the cravings were just sky high. And like I said, I was gaining belly fat, even though I was running 35 plus kilometers a week. Restrictive diets increase cortisol. They slow your metabolism and they cause muscle loss. All of these things make fat loss so much harder. Shift number 3 is to understand what finally worked for me. So here's what turned it around for me. And this is what I now teach my clients, and it's given me and my clients amazing results. So number 1 is to prioritize protein. Every meal, especially breakfast. A great general recommendation is to aim for 1 gram of protein per ideal pound of body weight. What that means in simple terms is if your target goal is 125 pounds, you would aim for 125 grams of protein per day. And you divide that equally between your meals, especially making sure you get in a high protein breakfast, because that's going to set you up for high energy, even blood sugar, and reduced cravings for the rest of the day. I suggest getting as much of that protein as possible through whole foods, complete sources of protein. Great examples of this include dairy products, include eggs, include fish, seafood, chicken, turkey, beef, duck, pork. The list goes on. Animal proteins are complete sources of protein. You want to make sure that you're getting as many unprocessed, single ingredient, whole sources of protein as possible. And if you need to supplement to get yourself up to that 1 gram of protein per ideal pound of body weight a day, then having a good quality beef or whey protein is the best option, in my opinion. In addition to that, strength training. Strength training 2 to 3 times a week can have a massive impact. Now, strength training comes in lots of different forms. You can use body weight exercises. You can get resistance bands. You can use machines at the gym. You can get dumbbells. But you want to lift heavy. If you don't know what that means, then look up progressive overload and speak with somebody that's qualified to set you up with a progressive overload strength training routine. On top of those 2 to 3 strength training sessions a week, walk daily. Track your steps, get a fitness tracker if you don't already have one, and gamify it. Track your steps for a week and figure out what your daily average is. And then work on increasing your daily average every week. For example, if your average step count is 5,000 on week 1, then on week 2, up that average daily count to 5,500. On week 3, up that daily count to 6,000 and go from there, making sure that you are consistently eventually getting to a goal of 8,500 steps per day on average, ideally even higher. See how far you can do, see what you're capable of. I guarantee that you're capable of so much more than whatever limitation you're setting for yourself. There's so many ways to do this. I'm sure you've heard lots of them before. Park in the far end of the parking lot. Go to the bathroom on a different floor. Get a walking mat when you're at work. Go for walks on phone calls and meetings. Take me time by going for a walk and listening to your favorite music or a podcast or an audiobook, whatever you enjoy. And if you go for a walk with somebody that you like, it's one of the best ways to have a really wonderful conversation and connect in a way that we don't normally get in this distracted world with all of our devices. Next, you want to manage your stress like it's a non-negotiable. Stress management, taking care of that cortisol and bringing it down, that is huge for women in midlife. Cortisol is going to give you that belly fat, is going to prevent you from dropping the pounds because your body is stuck in a state of fight or flight. It is not conducive for weight loss. So while stress management can seem extremely passive, and many women have a hard time embracing the fact that this is a powerful tool for weight loss, please don't underestimate it. It is so important, especially I know how much you have on your plate between work and family and all of the responsibilities that are coming at you constantly from a million different directions. I know how that feels. That's my reality too. And we cannot, in this wild world that we're living in, eliminate our stress. Instead, we have to employ tools consistently as often as possible to help us manage those stressors in a meaningful, impactful way. So stress management can look like all kinds of different things. Breath work is a simple, free, easily accessible way to manage your stress. Look up breath management practices to manage stress on YouTube, and you will find a zillion different options. Some of my favorites include the 4-7-8 method, box breathing. Learn how to consistently apply those at different times in your day to help you manage stress. Sitting in meditation is a fantastic way. Doesn't have to be for crazy long extended periods of time. You can simply sit and meditate for 5 or 10 minutes and get profound benefits with consistency. But there's other ways too. Going for a walk, which is amazing for your health and your fitness, is also a really great way to help you manage stress. So it's, one of my favorite things because it's killing two birds with one stone, so to speak. You can take a really nice, relaxing bath, throw in lots of Epsom salts for extra relaxation and maybe a couple of essential oils if you're feeling fancy. And that, again, is a powerful way, providing that you're not scrolling social media or something like that. That's another powerful way to manage your stress. The point is there's 1,000 different methods that you can use. You have to find the different methods that work for you, that you enjoy, and then make space in your life for them. Don't dismiss this step. It's so important. And finally, sleep like it's your job. Sleep like you're getting paid to do it. No more skimping out on sleep to get other things done or for finally a little me time where you binge watch way too much Netflix or do something else that's really not good for you. It may feel nice in the moment, but it's not helping you with your health and your fat loss goals. Sorry to break it to you. It's the truth. We want to aim to have ideally 8 hours of sleep a night, and I know that that can be really challenging as a woman in midlife. I will be sharing more strategies in an upcoming video about how you can do that. And I've literally had clients that were diagnosed insomniacs be able to turn their sleep around by following the methods I will show you here. The methods that I teach in my program, the Midlife Metabolism Fix. And if you want to know more about working one-on-one with me and the specific ways I can help you get to your goals through customized support, then be sure to click on the link in the description below. You can schedule a free call with me to find out more about the program and how it might help you. But at the end of the day, once I learned these steps and started consistently applying them to my life, which is how I supported my metabolism and my hormones instead of fighting against them, my body responded and the weight released. Because your body, I promise you, even though when you're in the thick of it, it feels like your body is fighting against you, it's not fighting you. It's asking you for a new approach. And when you give your body what it needs, it will respond. You don't have to stay stuck. You can feel strong, energized, and confident again. And I'm here to help you every step of the way. So if you felt unseen, unheard, or dismissed, I want you to know this. I see you. I hear you. I feel for you because I know exactly what it's like to be where you're at now. I've lived it. But I also want you to know that change is absolutely possible. And when you apply these methods, it's not only possible, it's probable. So if this message resonates, if you feel like this is helpful information, give this video a like so that it can be shared with other women who desperately need to hear this. And be sure to subscribe if you want more realistic, actionable, and effective ways to drop body fat as a woman in midlife. And be sure while you're at it to hit the notification button, because in my next video, I'm sharing 3 craving fixes that helped me to stay on track without having to use willpower, because deprivation and willpower, they're not the solution either. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.